Welcome to this Brain Blast. Now, I've talked a lot over the period of time about various forms of how you can speak and how you can interact, and we'll talk a little bit more about things like hemisphere work and various types of interactions, because it really is the relationship that we're needing to establish. Now, we're getting all kinds of papers in psychotherapy and in counselling and psychology about how it's the relationship, it's the nature of the interaction between two people that makes the therapy work, even more importantly than the therapy itself. Now, I know it's important to do research, but it's kind of because you do need research to validate things, but it's kind of like, well, yeah, it's good relationships always. When we have good relationships, it's our good friends, it's those people who we can trust. They're the people that we are comfortable with. They're the people that help us. They're the people that we feel helped by. And so it is with your therapist. But a therapist, and certainly if you're at work, an HR person, or if you're a manager, you actually don't have the type of strong friendship and the long-term engagement that enables you to have a slowly built and productive relationship. So there's things and tips and tricks and nifty things that you can use to help you build your sense of connection and engagement with the other person without necessarily having a long-term experience together. Now, I want to give you a set of what I call the 9 wellness voices, which obviously are then the 9 unwellness voices. But these are the way the body talks to us. These are the ways the behaviour talks to us, because it's this implicit world. It's the stuff that the consciousness is not aware of. It's the stuff that people can't talk about that really is the difficult stuff. So let's just go through these 9 wellness voices. We won't spend a lot of time on each one of them. I hope you go out and research some of them yourself. But these are the ones that really tell us important stuff, and straight away we can get a sense of what's going on with somebody. Sometimes we have to ask, sometimes they just tell us, sometimes we have to work it out a little bit. But let's go. Number 1, skin. That's the first thing you see, and it's really obvious. It's staring you in the face, pretty much, so to speak. But the quality of the skin, if it's dry, if it's pale, if someone's very grey in colour, very monotone in colour, even if they're very red in colour, well, that's not a good thing either. We tend to have sort of rosy cheeks, and then we have sort of variations in colour around the skin, and the skin looks sort of moistish, and it's sort of like if you want to feel as though you could pinch it, it would go back to where it was, not if you pinch it, it would just stay out. Now, obviously the older you get, the more your skin deteriorates, but that's another aspect that you need to take into account when you're looking at the skin. But it's changes in skin, changes in colour. So skin, first thing you see. Now here's probably one of the most important things of them all, is sleep. How much are they sleeping? How tired do they look? When you're looking at the skin, is it bags under the eyes? Gee, you're getting a good sleep? What's happening? A bit baggy under the eyes. Sleep is so important. We did a brain blast recently about sleep, so you've sort of up on sleep a little bit from the brain blast, but do go and look at it a bit more. So skin, sleep, sun. How much sun is someone getting? Now that can also be reflected in their skin if they've not got a very good colour, or if they're over-coloured, they've been out in the sun too much. But the sun, of course, is really important for vitamin D. And remembering that we ingest, either by food or by vitamin supplements, we can take in quite a bit of vitamin D, but it's the one that comes from the sun that's really important, because cholesterol, that thing that is terrible and gives you heart attacks, well, actually it's in your body because it's in under the skin, and cholesterol is the thing that interprets or translates or transforms the sunlight, the ultraviolet rays, into the first elements of vitamin D, of what we call cholecalciferol. So sun is really important. And if people aren't getting out in the sun, get them out in the sun. It's really sort of sun and air as well, fresh air. Next one, sugar. Now, you'll notice I keep going with S's here. It's quite good, but I kind of run out of S's that make sense. But skin, sleep, sun, sugar. Now, sugar sugar obviously is in a diet. Sugar is obviously there in all kinds of forms. But the more refined it is, the more manufactured foods people are having, the more likely they're to be having problems with their insulin resistance and building up early stages or developing stages of diabetes 2. Now, diabetes 2 takes about 14 or 15 years to develop. And that's actually why we're having a big epidemic since about 2005. Because we've been having highly sugarized food or increasingly sugarized food since about the late 1980s. Because in 1988, a guy actually, a scientist, discovered that sugar was really addictive and was really bad for you, and people yearned it and craved it, and they'd rush out and go and get it at the drop of a hat. And so, of course, all the food companies went out and said, oh beauty, let's put more sugar in our food, instead of doing the responsible thing. And of course, to get more sugar in your food, you need to sour it down, so they put more salt in their food. So they put more salt in, then they can put more sugar in, and then you've got a high salt, high sugar, you've got salt turning your heart into a piece of mashed potato, and you've got the sugar turning your kidneys and your spleen and your liver, and it's all a huge mess. So be careful of your sugar, and that's another way of looking at how people are. Sitting, meaning activity. How much sitting are you doing? And how much activity do you do? And when you do activity, when someone's doing activity, what sort of activity are they doing? Are they sitting around all day, then just getting up, going to the gym and going bang, 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 pow, 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 and then flaking out? Now, what we're supposed to be doing is generalized activities, being an active sort of being. Then we have our high intensity activity, and that can only be for 10, 15, 20 minutes a day. 4 or 5 minutes actually makes a difference. But you need to have a generalized activity. And of course, that's what the Actiblasts are all about. So you can use Actiblast to give yourself generalized activity that then makes the high impact activity really okay for you. So sitting, stress, obviously stress. We've got to be mindful of stress. And actually, remember I did the one, it's not stress, it's distress. It's unmanageable demand. It's where you get demands you can't manage, and then you worry about them and they bother you, and that's distress or stress. Skin, sleep, sun, sugar, sitting, stress. Now we come up to sex. Yay! It's always good to have sex in any conversation. Sells a lot of products, I believe. Sex though, but it's libido. It's that physical expression of outwardness, and hopefully that sex is really more involved with love and loving. Now, certainly quite a lot of times in our youth and as we get along, we kind of just have sex for the sake of sex. And okay, let's not worry about the moral or ethical or other arguments, but do mind your health as you do that. But loving sex is a wonderful thing, and libido is a really good indicator of how someone is going in their wellness. Now I ran out of S's here, so the next one is pain. Now we've done a brain blast on pain, very important, pain, that early, straightforward, readily recognizable indicator that something needs to be paid attention and something needs to be done. So pain, and then lastly, the face. Now, okay, we've looked at the skin, we've looked at various things, the sun, how affecting that is, but it's the face, it's the facial expression. And remember we talked about the polyvagal theory, the different muscles, that when you're in the socially engaged state, you're lifting the cheekbones, you're lifting the smile, you're raising the eyelids, you're opening up the throat and the vocal cords for prosodic sound, and you're able to move the shoulders for gesture. And there you have it. There's a way you can give yourself an assessment, or you can give somebody else a really readily, simple, accessible assessment of their well-being from their inner voices, from their implicit state. Whereas in their conscious world, they're probably saying, you say, how are you? Say, oh, I'm fine. I said, yeah, really? Because I've looked at your skin and it's a bit dry and peachy, and you've got bags under your eyes. I don't think you're sleeping terribly well. And look at that, you're pale as a thing. You're not getting in the sun. And I've just seen you eating a donut, so there's something going wrong there. And you're doing that while you're sitting down working on the computer. And I can see your furrowed brows. What's the stress going on there? And I've had to talk to your partner, and they were saying you weren't doing anything. And gosh, you know how you wince when things bump you? You're like, what's the pain going on there? And actually your face is drooping and down. And on the other hand, hey, you've got great pallor. Yeah, gee, no bags on your eyes. You must be sleeping well. And I love the way your skin is really healthy looking and your diet's great. You're getting out and being active. You're not so worried about things anymore. I hear you're having a bit of with the partner. Fantastic. And you don't seem to be in so much pain. And I just love the way your face is up and bright and bubbly. And then, of course, you have all the phases in between. So there you are. The 9 wellness voices, a way in which, even when you've got a good relationship, you can use these tools to help you look into the inner voices, the inner story, rather than just the sort of polite things we say off the top of our head. Or with someone that you don't know, if you're a psychotherapist or a counsellor or a psychologist, how you can quickly get some sense of engaged relationship and understanding of the other person through something very simple. Ladies and gentlemen, Brain Blast for today concluded. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please pay attention. Have a look at those things. Have a look at them in yourself first. It's a great place to start. It's a great place to learn to become quite good at something and then perhaps even an expert. So for now, see you next time. Bye.